for like months, if I had a dream, it wasn't anything really significant or I didn't remember it. But the last week or so, I think I was having tests in my dreams. I had a test with Jezebel and other family members there. I had a test with the parents of my ex-narcissist. It was another situation, something else. I woke up with scratches, which I'll have to release a separate video. I haven't uploaded that yet. And then the next day, I just woke up and I didn't remember anything at all. So maybe something happened, maybe it didn't. And then the next day, which was last night, I had a really cool dream. This was fun. And for some reason, you guys are going to love this dream. It was like giving me like knowledge and wisdom about the narcissist and their new family and their new wife now. This is in the spirit, so things don't look exactly the same. I saw this woman. I had never seen his real wife. I don't know if they're actually married, if they're just engaged. Because we actually never got legally married, so I guess we were never married. So he might be doing the same thing with this woman. And also, the woman that was in the dream here, she might look different than what I saw in my mind. This might just be how she looks in the spirit. So I really don't know. But she was not in most of it. She was just at the very end. And it's just like each part of this dream was like more and more wisdom. It was really cool. And the thing is, I'm not afraid of any narcissists. I'm not afraid of you guys. You make my life suck. And I'm surrounded in filth. I'm surrounded by roaches and fleas and mice. And my life sucks. And I don't have a vehicle. And it's cold. And I don't have healthy food. And I'm getting fat. And no one loves me or likes me. And a lot of this is okay. But anyways, you guys suck. But I'm not afraid of you. I'm not afraid. I actually look forward to, like, if I ever got to see my ex-narc or if I ever got to see another narcissist. Because, like, God protects us so much that they can't do anything. Even if they poison us, like, yeah, you might not feel very good, but you're going to survive because God doesn't let them actually kill you. Like, God doesn't allow their plans to succeed. Like, you notice things happening and your life gets worse, but you're just fine. And God still provides for you and gets you at least the bare minimum to scrape by. So they can't do anything to you, and knowing that, and then also knowing that they're terrified of you. They are terrified. They will shake and tremble. They are so afraid of you. And once you've seen their attacks, how these spirits behave, it's the same thing every time. So then you can kind of like try something different. It's kind of like a science experiment. See what works, see what doesn't work. And you know, they're going to do like their little rages, their tantrums here, do this here, and then just the more you're exposed to it, then it doesn't bother you at all because you're just used to it. So it's almost like every chance I get to be with a narcissist, I'm like, yeah, I'll take it. That sounds fun. Cause like God, if it is your mission to do certain things, God will actually teach you how to handle them, how to behave, how to diffuse them, how not to be harmed. Like, God teaches you how to react to them, what to say to them, what's effective. And like, I would get to try different things, and if something didn't work, I'd try something else. Like, there was a weird period of time after we split up where I was at the house, and they'd keep coming back, so I could try different things. So anyways, this dream, like, one dream, well shoot, like 2 weeks ago, I had a dream with a narcissist in it. And there's a dream like we were going to go someplace, like on a family trip. And I was like kind of happy, looking forward to this trip. and this dream, okay, as I said, in that trip, the narcissist and I were not together romantically at all. It was not sexual. There never was any love anyways, but it was like, it was nothing like that. It was just like two adults, that were not in a marriage, that were not in a relationship. Okay, so this dream, for some reason, I was visiting my ex-narcissist, so I was going to stay at his house. So the idea was that I didn't live here, I had my own place. And then just right now, I was coming to visit for some reason. I don't know how long I was going to be there, maybe a few days or something. Like, I don't really know. I had the idea that it wasn't that long, but I was probably going to stay a few nights or something. At least I was going to stay there like one night or something. In a different room. In a different room. Not in the same room as the nurse. Not in the same room. There was nothing like that. And so, it was so strange. Because it was supposed to be like, I still co-own a house with the narcissist, which they've tried to destroy, and they're suing me, and they're refusing to sell it, so who knows what's going on there. But anyways, it's like, I left the house, I purchased this one. I got a loan, that property was supposed to be sold, it was never sold. The narcissist tried to sue me, and I just replied to the forms that they sent. They couldn't do anything. The narcissist was really upset that he spent his time and money paying this lawyer and they couldn't destroy me. So I believe 99.99% clear the evidence will show that my ex-narcissist killed his lawyer. Probably right before he had to pay his legal fees. And then they were not able to get me. And then I just logged in and saw like there's another lawyer, and there was another lawyer's name that had quit or was fired. It didn't specify. It was like some abbreviation, and I looked it up, and it was like deactive. Like, so there was a new lawyer's name that I'd never seen before, and it said deactivated. So the only thing I can figure is that my ex-narcissist, he killed his first lawyer trying to get me, and then he went and tried to get another lawyer. And this lawyer was unable to do anything, so he was fired, or my ex-narcissist looked so nuts and Looney Tunes that this lawyer actually fired him. So one of these happened. But anyways, I was going to his house to visit for a few nights, and this just seemed perfectly normal. And this was like the house that I was with at the narcissist, where we lived. We used to live together a long time. So it was like I was going back to that house. Now, of course, in the spirit realm, in my dream, the house looked completely different. It was a different house. But in my mind, the thought was, this was my old house. Like, this represented in the spirit realm the house I lived at with the narcissist. I was going back to visit. I did not see my grown children there. They were not in this dream. So that's probably significant, because he made sure to get them. They sold out. He made sure to get them, but one has already moved to another state, and the other one, I don't know. She's being controlled by spirits. I have no idea how long she's going to be staying there, and if he moves a few states over, then she might not move with him. So I'm thinking something like that. So I went to visit him. It's almost like the house we used to live at was this house in the dream, but it had grown and changed based on him and his approach to dealing with his new supply. And our children, which are adults now, were not there. They were not in this dream at all. They were not a part of it. That is significant. Okay, so this house, I remember just all of a sudden being aware of my surroundings. And I'm trying to think. This is so hard to remember, because I had this is like 12 hours ago, and I didn't want to make a video then because I had to run errands before it got dark. So I didn't have time to make a video then. And so I'm making it now. So I just remembered being aware of my surroundings just at this point of the dream. And it was like I had a bedroom there. At least maybe it wasn't my room, but I was staying in that room for the duration of my visit. And it was a large queen bed. And the house was a lot bigger. And it was a lot nicer. It had really nice add-ons. It had been improved a lot. So actually it was like a totally different house. But in my mind, it was still our old house. The house was bigger. The house was nicer. It had a lot of upgrades. But the house was a wreck. The house was a big mess with like trash everywhere. And just disorganized with stuff. Because like the bed itself was fine, but all along the sides of the bed was just junk. Stuff just thrown on the sides of the bed. And it was a mess downstairs. And it was a mess upstairs. And it was a mess in the bedroom where I was staying. And I remember being there, and then the narcissist was like yelling, you know, when they go in their grumpy little temper tantrum. And like there were 5 children, 5 little children. They must have been like 8 years old. that for some reason were coming to visit at my ex-narcissist house. This is so weird. 5 little children. I knew it was 5 children, and they were coming to stay at his house. This makes absolutely no sense at all. Anyways, the house was a big mess, and he was yelling and he was mad, and of course blaming me that my room was a mess because along the sides of the bed was stuff, and it wasn't even my stuff. It was like his stuff, but it was the room I was staying in, and I wasn't upset, but I knew he was blaming this on me. And so then I'm like real calm, and I walk upstairs to see because this whole house is like bigger, and it's like a beautiful house. It's really nice now, but it's just wrecked and trashed and filled with garbage. Then I go upstairs, and I see there is room for the 5 children to stay, because he was saying that they needed to stay in the bedroom where I was sleeping. So it was my fault they didn't have a place to stay. And I walked up the steps, and then like scooted stuff, and then there was a big room, and scooting stuff to the edges, and noticed there was plenty of room here for all 5 kids that could get sleeping bags on the floor, and there was a lot of room. And I was trying to tell the narcissist about, hey, like, look, there's room for him here, like that. And the narcissist was just complaining, and he came upstairs, and he was like if I was here, he was looking like not at me, but like diagonal, like towards me and away from me. And I was just trying to tell him, like, hey, look, they could stay here. Here's a solution. I was trying to tell him a solution to his problem. There's plenty of room for the 5 little kids that for some reason are coming to your house to stay here. There's plenty of room. And then he just came up, and he was still complaining, and he wasn't listening. He wasn't listening to anything I said. And he was yelling and complaining, not yelling like screaming, but he was talking loud and just complaining, and like he wasn't listening, and he was like talking through me, or like talking past me, and I'm like, okay, like it bothered me about this much, as you see on my face, like, okay. So then, and then this upstairs room it was a big room, plenty of room to put sleeping bags or even cots or mattress or something for these children to sleep. In front of it was a big giant shower, and I looked at it, and I thought the narcissist had just installed this incorrectly. Like, he did some stuff weird. Like, the house was done really well, but it looked like the shower was weird, like the drain was in the wrong place or something was wrong with it. And then I looked, and I noticed, oh, actually it is done correctly. But like the whole side wall was a shower. It was huge. It was really weird, kind of like a dungeon. It kind of reminded me of a dungeon. But I wasn't afraid or anything, but it was very unusual. I've never seen anything like this. Like, if you went upstairs, there was like a railing, like a banister, and just a big room, and it wasn't like closed off like a prison, and the back wall was just all a shower, and there was like a hose over on this side and a drain over here, and really interesting. And at first I thought he did it wrong, and then I looked at him like, oh, it is done right. And then and he was just talking through me and not paying attention. I continued to walk, and like from this upstairs I was able to go outside, and I was just walking around outside. I'm checking out the property, because it was really beautiful, and it was like the house was picked up and transplanted someplace else. So we used to live in the suburbs, kind of in the city. There was a lot of traffic. So like this house was now like picked up and dropped off in the middle of the woods, like way out, they're saying Appalachia or something. So I used to live in Logan for a while. If you know about Hocking Hills, Old Man's Cave, who I believe was Lucifer, he lived right next to Old Man's Cave, and where what do you call it? The Devil's Whirlpool thing is. I'm wondering, he lived right next to that. So I think that's where the spirit came from, and it was on purpose. This is so cool. Is this life real? Is this real? Or am I imagining things? So anyways, it's like this house, like the house we used to live at, instead of being like in a city, was like picked up and transplanted in the country, way out in the middle of the nowhere, along a country road. And it reminded me of like when I lived way out in the country with my mom and the devil. And I like the devil. It broke my heart. I was so sad when he died. I'm just wondering, is he saved? Is he going to hell? Like, because I didn't know. I mean, that really upset me. But anyway, yeah, that's how I felt. And I still feel upset, but I should make a separate video about his downfall. and he stayed in my mother's life while he had a mission. And then as soon as I wasn't going around there anymore, he was discarded by Jezebel. Anyway, so this is like our old house was transplanted to the country, like way out in the middle of nowhere where it was secluded. And then it was along one of these old dirt gravel roads, way out in the middle of nowhere, where nobody would see what would happen in that property. A little privacy. And then it was the driveway going up, and then you're supposed to be able to pull out just onto the road. But there were big bolts, so there was like a rock fence. And then where you're supposed to come in and where you're supposed to leave, there was big boulders like blocking the entrance to the road. So I don't know, they must have had a second a second entrance on the other side of the property. But this side I noticed, and there was a small like doorway sized opening next to it. So there was a small opening, maybe it was like a window, because there was like a rock fence. So I walked up to the second floor. There must have been a door on that floor. I went outside. So the house must have been like on a hill. And then I was outside, and I was able to see the driveway. And then where it met the road where you're supposed to leave, there was a big rock fence. And then where the opening was to get to the road, there was giant boulders put in there. Next to it was like, but it was raised, so you couldn't drive a vehicle through it, and it was too small. But you couldn't even get like a motorcycle through because it was like a window. It was up higher. There was an opening there. You could step through. And I think I saw, I'm not sure, but I think I saw a cat or something go through that opening. I'm not really sure. I do believe a cat or something like that went through the opening. Just to let me know, like, a person could walk through there, but you couldn't get a vehicle through that way. And I saw the big boulders blocking the way out. And then I thought, oh, that's what the narcissist is doing. He's got his new supply, and he moved her way out into the country so they have privacy and seclusion. And he blocked off the exit from the property to keep her from leaving. And then at the very end of this, and then I didn't see him again, because he's almost, I feel bad still when I think of him, because the way some of these spirits are, they're very low IQ, they're very childish, so I still feel bad for that. I know they're evil, they're horrible, they're evil, but I still feel bad, because they're just not very smart. And she, his new supply, I don't know, I would say wife, because they said they're married, but they might not be legally married, they're probably not, maybe they are, it doesn't matter to me. But in the dream, I only saw her for a few seconds at the very end. So after I saw the boulders blocking the exit, and then I'm like, oh, this is the narcissist's plan to get her out in the middle of nowhere and keep her trapped. And then I see her, and she is beautiful. She's maybe like a little bit heavier than me, but still fit. And you know, she's got like black hair or dark hair. You know, she's pretty attractive, but she seemed quite not spiritually awakened, not enlightened, egotistical, worried about appearances. And then she was saying, and I think her nails were done, and she looked kind of fancy, not extremely so, but like if you were in the city, like a woman that would go to work and, you know, was just put together. Okay, so, and then she's standing there and not necessarily talking to me, but either talking to the world or talking to somebody else. And she said, yeah, I married this guy because I was going to get 3 rings. Or she wanted three rings, or she was going to get 3 rings. So I would imagine they'd be diamond rings with like gold. So she wanted these expensive rings. And she was marrying him to get the expensive rings. And I did not see compassion. And I did not see empathy. And I did not see love. You know, she was maybe my height, like short, maybe a little taller, maybe slightly heavier than me, but still thin. But, I mean, but when she spoke, it wasn't mean, it wasn't evil. But it was like vain, it was like egotistical, and there was not compassion or love. And she said just at the end, yeah, I'm marrying to get these 3 rings. So at the end, she said she was marrying my ex-narcissist to get these, like, I think 3 diamond rings. And I imagined he'd go and he would charge some cubic zirconium rings and give those to her probably, or steal them some way. Find a way to. I imagine he would get fake diamonds, or steal them from somebody else. Maybe not from a store, but like if he had clients or somebody he found through work, like if he did IT, then maybe he would steal their rings if he was on call doing work at their house and then give that to her. But she had in her mind these diamond rings that she wanted, and she was going to get him to marry my ex-narcissist. And so I saw the whole setup. He was trapping her so that he could start abusing her. I was never physically abused. I did not allow it. But he might try that with her. The narcissists try that with everybody. And if you allow it, then they will do it. So he might try that. But then after all that and him yelling, and then she might have been even worse than him. And if she said the reason they're getting married was for the money or for how it would look, just how it would look to have those rings. And then she could tell other people, oh, my husband got me these rings. Well, she would probably be mentally abusing him. So I know that we've heard things about the narcissist, but where are these 5 children? Why are they visiting him? And then I didn't realize that his wife was there at the beginning of the dream. I just saw her at the very end. So this was odd. It was like showing me what was going on in his life. Like God was showing me. Allowing me to step into his home. I haven't spoken to him in so long. And see what's going on. The house is bigger. The house is upgraded. The house was like, wow, this is nice. But you couldn't think that because it was wrecked. It was trashed. It was hoarded up. There was garbage and junk everywhere. There was garbage and junk all over the place. And then he tried to like block off the exit to keep his new wife in there and have her out in the middle of nowhere in isolation. And then she was using him for how she would look to get the rings. So she would look good to other people. So how cool is that? How cool is that? And what were they going to do with these children? Because my ex-narc does not like children. He does not like children at all. And this woman does not look like she cares for children either. So it's probably some narcissist thing. They're probably going to try to do rituals on him. Or maybe, actually I have a feeling maybe it's more for the appearance of being good people. They want to look like they're good parents. They want to look like, you know, I was bad. I was the abuser. And like, they take care of children. They're great people to be looked up to. Maybe that is it. I'm not sure. But it's like, even though the property was like amazing, it had been destroyed. It was actually something nicer than here, which is amazing. I've never seen in the real world. But they managed to destroy that. The narcissist had destroyed that. So, thank goodness I'm not there. It's better to be homeless than to be living with a narcissist. But I can't be homeless because I have 3 dogs. I cannot be homeless. This home, I said before, this home is for my dogs. God has me living here and not on the street because I have dogs. And they need a roof, and they need a yard, and they need to run. And they can't just be loose because there's roaming pit bulls. Anyways, that was a really cool dream. And that would probably be the nicest house that I can remember seeing. And somehow he had made our old house like so much better, and it just grew. But it was worse because it was wrecked again. And then the whole time you're in there, it's just like nag, 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 nag. It's better to be homeless than live with a narcissist, and you'll probably get more sleep. Okay, thanks for watching.